Hello and welcome. This is Deb, otherwise known as Motorcyclemommom. If this is your first time here, welcome to my channel. And if you're returning, welcome back. And thank you for the support. You are getting ready to see some of the most beautiful scenery one could ask to see while riding a motorcycle. I recently had the opportunity to fly to Florida for a few days to support Ed in something he was doing. And I did not know what the schedule was going to be, which generally stresses me out because I cannot plan. But I knew that he would be busy doing what he was there to do and that I would have some free time. I just didn't know exactly what that would look like. And I had plenty of work to do, but when you are on the gorgeous Gulf Coast of Florida, who wants to sit in a hotel room on a laptop when they could be out riding and videoing? Not me. So I'm much more of one. I'm not much of one for just sitting still or not being productive. So it seemed like the perfect opportunity to rent a motorcycle, revisit some of the beautiful places that I'd seen before in Pinellas County, and explore some new sites as well. So I did just that. I will have a video coming out soon, depending on when you're watching this, that explains renting the motorcycle, what site I used, how that all went, and the experience of it. I was lucky. Michael was awesome to meet, and I will also have a video about the experience of riding a bike that was a lot different than my own and what I'm used to and my thoughts on that experience. So look forward to those soon. I had only had the bike for about 24 hours. I had to work my day job Friday morning, but I took half of the day off, like the afternoon half. So I picked up the bike about 1 and I rode it up and down the Gulf Coast. Also another video coming soon about that part. But this video is about Saturday morning. I did a ride down to Fort DeSoto Park. I had been there years ago with Rich and the kids. His sister and her family lived in the area at the time. Most of them still do. But my one regret from this trip was not catching up with my nephew and his family. I just didn't have enough knowledge of the schedule or the timing of things to plan appropriately. And as I kind of mentioned, I'm a planner. So my joke is I can be spontaneous as long as I plan for it. I'm working on that. It is a work in progress. And don't expect any big results soon. Let's just say that. I'm okay with who I am and my quirks. So by the time of this ride to Fort DeSoto, I had already spent several hours on the bike, and I was quite comfortable with it. The ride from the hotel to Fort DeSoto was about 45 minutes, but only a bit over 21 miles, so a little bit of traffic if you can do the math on that. Just traffic and red lights and slower speeds, basically. The ride there was almost as beautiful as the ride through Fort DeSoto. I have some photos towards the end of the video of when I walked out onto the beach, so you can see how beautiful these beaches are and how clear at the time and calm the Gulf waters were. I also have some footage of the fort as well, so keep watching. A bit of a side note for anyone doing a similar trip, or really anytime renting a motorcycle, I had been in this area before, so I knew that there were tolls. So I brought my Easy Pass with me on the trip. I was aware that I was renting a bike from, I'll say, a quote-unquote regular person, and I didn't want to risk any tolls going back to him. I didn't know what he might have to do through the rental company to get that money back, so I just wanted to make sure that wasn't even an issue. And it's always a lot more reasonable when renting a car, because we also rented a car while we were there, to use your own Easy Pass than to do that through the rental company. But since I did have a car as well, the Easy Pass was used for both. So it just made sense to bring it. Usually that's one of the last things I do when I'm at the airport if I'm traveling personally, is I will grab the Easy Pass out of my car and just throw that in with my carry-on stuff so I have it. So just, for you to keep in mind if you're doing anything similar. It's just a good idea. I had remembered that this area was beautiful, which is one of the reasons that I thought, let me go rent a bike and do this. But I had forgotten just how incredibly beautiful it is. Or perhaps it was the perspective of re-experiencing it, but this time from the seat of a bike. It made me wonder for a split second of why I would not necessarily want to live in that area, because it really is gorgeous. And then I remembered that I like 4 seasons, and it was October and in the mid to upper 80s. I was comfortable riding, but the moment that I hit a red light, traffic in general, or got off the bike, I was baking. I am a northern girl, so I enjoy visiting moderately warm places, but again, I'm a northern girl. So yes, I know that's counterproductive to comfortably riding a motorcycle, and I am sure that I would adapt to the climate and all of that, but I prefer to visit warmer areas in December through February when they are the least warm. That's my heat tolerance level. And I'm a live and let live kind of person, as I've mentioned before. So for those of you that like warmer climates, enjoy, have at it, have fun. I was born in the fall, and that is the perfect weather for me. I went light jacket, warm beverage, crisp air. That's just perfection. So, question to you guys, what is your favorite season? Also, if you live in a place that has 4 seasons or it gets cold, do you ride year round? And what's your limit? Leave me a comment. I'll tell you, my limit is generally, like, I will ride as long as there's not snow on the ground, but I prefer over 40 degrees Fahrenheit because other than that, I'm not going that far. And the rides do change. Like, I might be willing to ride a lot longer at 60, 70 degrees than what I'm going to ride at 40 degrees or 90 degrees. So there is that sweet spot of where it's just really good riding weather, and then when it's not as good riding weather. But anyway, leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Now I want to share a little bit of information about Fort DeSoto. There is a $5 parking fee. It would appear to be all pay without human contact kind of stuff. So there is a 35-cent convenience fee. They do offer an annual pass. I didn't look into that as an option because it didn't pertain to me. I was only going to be there a couple of days. And I'm going to sound old here, and I know that, but I'm going to say it anyway. But I miss the days of there being a person that you handed $5 to and went on your way. And I know this way there's not lines, there's not any backup getting into the park, but still, it's kind of a pain to have to scan something or go out to an app. But it is what it is. It worked out fine, and I managed to do it twice without any problem. Fort DeSoto, it's the largest park in Pinellas County. It is 1,136 acres, and it's made up from 5 interconnected islands or keys. And this is coming directly from the website. It's home to beach plants, mangroves, wetlands, palm hammocks, hardwoods, and a lot of native plants. And this part really kind of surprised me, but there are more than 328 species of birds in the park. 328 different species. But that's just amazing to me. The beach there also provides a refuge to the loggerhead sea turtle, which nests there between April and September. So cool stuff. Annual park attendance averages more than 2.7 million visitors. I think that's really impressive. There is over 7 miles of waterfront, including almost 3 miles of gorgeous white sandy beaches. You're going to see a little bit of that. And there is an 800-foot long boat launching facility with 11 floating docks. Camping's available there, as well as picnic areas. There's restrooms throughout the park. I would say modern restrooms throughout the park, not primitive ones. Playgrounds, trails, and 2 large swim centers with a food concession stand at the North Beach Swim Center. There's also a fishing pier, and they have a ferry service to get over to 2 of the keys. So how cool is that? I didn't have enough time to do that because I would have liked to, but I didn't. Also worth mentioning for those with 4-legged kids, there is also a fenced-in area near the beach for large and for small dogs, or 2 fenced-in areas, one for large, one for small, with water stations and an area of the beach where dogs are allowed. So cool stuff. If you're a pet parent, I'm sure that will interest you. As far as the historic significance of the park, the property was first purchased from the federal government in 1938 for $12,500. A couple years later, in 1941, the property was sold back to the federal government for $18,404. Like, who comes up with that number? But anyway, to be used as a gunnery and bombing range during World War II. That's the significance of the name of the fort, right? The property was repurchased from the United States in 1948 for $26,500. So there is 12-inch mortar battery located at the fort for which the park is named. It is listed in the National Register of Historic Places in 1977. And adding to that historical interest at Fort de Soto, two British breech-loading rapid-fire rifles of 1890 vintage were installed in March of 1982. Markers showing the original building locations and a quartermaster storehouse museum add to the park's historic interest and the draw to that area. So that's a little background on the park. But I want to go ahead and wrap this up by saying thank you. Truly, truly thank you for watching this video. If you have not yet, please do subscribe to the channel. It costs nothing and it means so much. I mean so much for the growth of the channel. All it takes is a click. That's all. Just one little click, please. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and the thumbs up button. And thanks again. Until next time, be safe and keep life shiny side up. Take care.
I'll try to. It's gonna be difficult.